Hi everyone, Abu189 here. Welcome to the second devlog of Fisher's Isle. First of all, thank you very much for all the feedback and support I received for the first devlog. I was overwhelmed by its success. Thanks to the many likes you gave the video, YouTube even recommended it for a limited time. It really helps to get a lot of eyes on the game. It also tells me that I'm actually making a fun game that people want to play. With this boost, I've been able to implement something new most days in the last 5 weeks since the last devlog. Okay, let's take a look at what I've done in the meantime. I improved the 3D model of the pier and textured it with my self-made toy material using Substance. The smart material pipeline is very streamlined because I can just drag the material onto any 3D model and only need to change its color. It allows me to fine-tuning the details by changing the exposed parameters with a slider. This approach also ensures that all game objects are visually consistent. The difficulty in making this smart material is that I wanted the imperfections to be subtle. When you think of your Lego toys, you might see fingerprints and scratches only at certain angles and under certain lighting conditions. I also textured the coconuts, the chest and the crab with the same base material. When I textured the crab, I couldn't help but think that the animation needed to be revised. I think the animations look much more natural now. To make the "You're a child's toy in a sandbox" more convincing, I made some more 3D models. There is no sand pit without a red plastic shovel, so I made one. I also added a new Lego-inspired tree. I had a lot of fun putting it together. It really reminded me of my childhood. Then I put the whole world into a sand pit. I like how it turned out. I will work on more sand toys and maybe add a little sand castle, we'll see. The next step was to add a HUD with a label indicating which item and how many of them are collected by the player. I created the icons by rendering the objects in Blender, and then post-processed and outlined them in Affinity Designer. The player can now also collect clams that have a chance of containing pearls that can be sold on the next island. Then I started working on the sound effects. The footstep sound in the last devlog was just a placeholder. Hawking pointed me to a free SFX library from Adobe. I included the link in the video description. The quality is excellent. I used Audacity to cut the recordings into several samples, so I have a small library for each action. Let's say you have a sound effect that is played when the foot hits the ground, for example in the sand. You don't want to use the same sound every time, but you want to have a random node that can select from a number of samples to create some variety. The next step was to play a different sound when the player walks along the shore of the pier. So now, every time the foot touches the ground, I use a ray trace to check the player's underground and play the appropriate sound effect. In Unreal, this can be achieved with the help of the so-called physics material, which can be placed on top of a regular material. Then I compared the hit result of the ray trace with an array of materials to select the right sound effect. Let me briefly demonstrate the result. This made the game feel much more immersive, and I am very happy that I started doing this early in the development. I studied spatialization of the crab's walking sound so that the player can locate it. That works very well now when you wear headphones. Enough talk about 3D models and sounds, let's have a look at the new game mechanics. As mentioned in the previous devlog, the diving mechanics are based on a transition to side view. I wanted to achieve this by cutting through the island in water instead of working with the near clipping plane. I just checked my Twitter profile that I started developing the cutting shader in early May. I tried many different approaches, but decided to use a plane to texture the cut. The difficulty is that the height of the island varies depending on location of the cut. In addition, the height of the water waves is dynamic. After my depth stencil-based shader turned out quite performance-heavy, I stumbled across a YouTube channel from an Unreal dev who has some tutorials on virtual runtime texture. It allows you to sample the geometry of a mesh in form of a height map, just what I needed. The computational effort is only moderate, and the shader is fully dynamic. Okay, let's have a look at the transition in the game. It took a lot of time, but I think it serves its purpose and allows the player to explore the ocean. The idea is that the deeper you go, the less you can see. I will also add an oxygen bar in the next update. On the next island there will be a shop where you can buy equipment like goggles, flashlight, fins and tanks to go treasure hunting in the depths of the ocean. I also worked on an interaction interface that allows you to interact with objects. In the past, the boat had a floating text, while now a proper label and a symbol indicate a possible action. The player can now collect a stick from the new tree. It serves as a weapon to kill the crabs. You can collect the corpses and grill them at the newly added campfire. Let me know in the comments if you think this is a good idea. I have added a new animation so that the player can sit by the fire. The music hawk encompassed for it fits perfectly. As you can see, I also started working on a day and night cycle. It's not quite finished yet and needs to be further optimized, so that it looks exactly the way I imagined it at any time of the day. I'm not sure at what pace I should release new devlogs, but I currently intend to upload a new one every 4 to 6 weeks. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this devlog. If you want to support the development of Fisher's Isle, I would be very happy if you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter or join my Discord channel. I appreciate any feedback about Fisher's Isle or the devlog. Thank you for watching.